In this video, we will discuss the giant-sized monster creatures in the world of One Piece. Now, as we all know, Oda-sensei sometimes likes to create characters that are completely absurd and make no sense at all. But that's exactly what makes fans love the One Piece anime so much. So, in this video, we will talk about the top 7 giants in One Piece that have the biggest sizes. And without further ado, let's get straight into the ranking. Hacha is one of the numbers in Kaido's Beast Pirates crew, and his size is absolutely insane. His height alone is 66.8 meters. Hacha was an experiment from Punk Hazard aimed at creating ancient giants, but unfortunately the experiment failed, and he was eventually bought by Kaido to become part of the Beast Pirates crew. His age is no joke either, he's already 188 years old. Like the other numbers, Hacha also has a habit of drinking excessively. With his spiked club weapon, Hacha can cause chaos for the Straw Hat crew. During the war in Onigashima, Hacha went on a rampage, attacking indiscriminately. Even his own allies got caught in the crossfire. He even chased after Frankie Shogun because he thought it was a giant toy. But despite his massive size and strength, his brain doesn't quite match up. In the end, he was defeated by Yamato, knocking him unconscious. When we talk about giant characters in One Piece that really made the Straw Hat crew sweat bullets, Oars definitely makes the list. But what makes it even crazier is that he's not a giant who's been alive since the beginning of the story, but rather a reanimated corpse brought back to life by Gecko Moria. Standing at a whopping 67 meters tall, Oars is clearly not an opponent to be taken lightly. So, the story goes like this. Moria and his crew found Oars' corpse and came up with a crazy experiment, reviving this giant using the power of the Kage no Mi Devil Fruit. And boom, Oars is back, but this time not just as a regular giant, but a giant that can move using Luffy's shadow. As a result, the battle on Thriller Bark turned into complete chaos. The Straw Hat crew, who usually handle enemies with ease, had to go all out to take down this monster. Oars could literally destroy ships, demolish buildings, and toss characters around like action figures. Just one punch from him was enough to send anyone flying to the next island. But despite being brutal and overpowered, Oars still had his weaknesses, and this is where the Straw Hat's strategy was put to the ultimate test. They had to work together, come up with combination attacks, and even use Nightmare Luffy to finally bring down this giant. If we're talking about giant characters in One Piece, there are so many candidates. But if we specifically talk about the fishman race, no one can beat the size of Watatsumi. This giant creature stands at 80 meters tall with a terrifying face and mouth. Watatsumi is a member of the Flying Dutchman, and he used to work for Vanderdecken 9 before he eventually crossed paths with the Straw Hat crew on Fishman Island. At first, he was given the illusion of having enormous strength, capable of fighting Kraken and possessing a supermassive body. But in reality, mentally, he's like a child. Every time he gets hit with a somewhat serious attack, he panics, cries, and gets easily tricked. But don't be mistaken, even though his personality is like a crying little kid, his physical strength is no joke. On Whole Cake Island, Watatsumi played a significant role because he became a savior for the Straw Hat crew, helping them escape from Big Mom pirates. Smiley is the result of a crazy experiment by Caesar Clown that proves that science in the world of One Piece isn't just for cool technology, but can also create walking horror creatures. Smiley is essentially a massive amount of toxic H2S gas compressed and given life through an artificial zoan fruit, the Sara no Mi model axolotl. And when it comes to big things, don't underestimate Smiley. This red-colored monster stands at 150 meters tall, which is 1.5 times the height of the Statue of Liberty. The Straw Hat crew had no chance of fighting him directly, because just one touch could lead to a permanent game over. That's why, when Smiley started chasing them, they didn't act tough, but immediately hit the gas and ran. But what's mind-blowing is how Smiley was defeated. He wasn't beaten by an attack or clever strategy. He ended up dying because he ate a giant candy prepared by Caesar. After he exploded, the toxic gas he produced turned into a mass weapon called Shinokuni, a deadly gas that could turn anyone into a poisonous statue in a matter of seconds. If we're talking about the biggest characters in One Piece, Sanan Wolf's name definitely has to be on the list. Not only is he huge, but he also has the Deka no Mi Devil Fruit, which allows him to change his body size to even more absurd proportions. It's no surprise that his nickname is Colossal Battleship, because his size is bigger than a regular warship. Before becoming one of the Titanic captains in the Blackbeard Pirates, Wolf was a level 6 prisoner in Impel Down. This means he's not just big, but also has a track record that made the world government think twice before releasing him. But what makes Wolf even scarier is the fact that he was recruited by Teach after the chaos in Impel Down. This means he's not just a wild monster, but also has strategy and leadership under Blackbeard. And what's even crazier, despite being a devil fruit user, Wolf can still move in the sea. Sure, he says it drains a lot of stamina, but still, this breaks the usual One Piece rule set by this giant creature. With a height of 180 meters, he makes islands look small next to him, and coupled with his status as one of Blackbeard's trusted men, Sanan Wolf is definitely not a character to be underestimated. If we're talking about the biggest characters in One Piece, the name Laboon definitely can't be skipped. Laboon has been alive for more than half a century and stands at 400 meters tall. This giant whale isn't just huge physically, but also has a heart that's bigger than its own size. Just imagine, it spent decades slamming its head against the red line, just to wait for its pirate crew who had left it behind. Unfortunately, reality isn't always as beautiful as hope. Laboon's crew, the Rumbar Pirates, had long since perished from poisoning, and the only one who survived was Brook, who, ironically, became a living corpse. Despite having a broken heart, Laboon remained a kind-hearted creature, and didn't turn into a monster seeking revenge on humans. No wonder Luffy even promised to return to find him, and he even made a pirate symbol on his own head as a sign of friendship. When talking about the biggest characters in One Piece, Zunesha is literally the definition of Big Boss. Zunesha is an ancient giant elephant that stands over 5 kilometers tall. It is said that Zunesha has been walking around the Grand Line non-stop and without any purpose for centuries. The reason it does this is said to be because Zunesha was punished for a crime it committed. On top of that, Zunesha is also seen carrying a region and civilization of the Mink tribe. What's even more interesting is that Zunesha isn't just a decoration in the One Piece world, it has a history that is directly connected to Joy Boy and major events during the Void Century. But what's most mind-blowing, Zunesha isn't just huge, it's also ridiculously OP. When Jack and his fleet attacked Zu, one swing of its trunk wiped out the entire enemy fleet. But, of course, such power has its limits. Zunesha can't act on its own will. It needs someone to give orders, and so far, only a few people can hear its voice. So that's the biggest monsters in One Piece. What do you think? Are there other giants that are forgotten in this video? Thanks for watching, and see you later.